Shalom everybody. In today's video we will be going into the highest and most esoteric levels as to the origin and emergence of Satan, Samael, and Lilith. It goes into a deep dive into the mysteries of creation, Genesis and Bereshis, and we will be reading extensively from a new portion of the Sefer called Sefer HaSod Razina Satan, the secret mystery of the Satan. In addition, a QR code for this treatise is made available via the introductory segment to this video, as well as a link to a public WhatsApp group where announcements and behind-the-scenes looks into the up-and-coming projects is made. By the end of this video, we will have entered in some of the loftiest matters ever made public. Sightings from Book 9 of the Zohar, Section Bo, as well as the Talmud tractate Nida, which will bring out these inner levels. A video such as this has never been publicly expounded upon. Much of this content revealed from never-before-seen manuscripts. With that being said, let us begin. Sefer HaSod Harazin Satan, as revealed by Yirah. Forward. This text is called Sefer HaSod Harazin Satan, the secret of the mystery of Satan. This text covers the highest mysteries of Satan and Lilith, as well as the origins of what would later be called Gnosticism. Although this text itself is not inherently Gnostic, it does, however, reveal some of the highest mysteries, some of which, without a doubt, influence these latter texts. Many of the mysteries that will be revealed have never been revealed openly, and others have never seen the light of day. It is also important to understand the nature of this text is to explain Genesis through the lens of the Tanin Gedal, as will be opened with through the Zohar. In addition, there is a section at the end regarding the nature of the secrets of Yirah and world peace. It is known there are 70 interpretations of the Zohar, and the secret of the word Sod, which has a value of 70. Regarding this matter, the entire treatise covers only one of those secret interpretations. The intention here is not to lead one into a false understanding. Neither is the purpose to bring a person into heresy. In addition, sections of Tikkunei HaChoshek, also called Tikkuns of the Darkness, as exist only in manuscript form, and were passed down from one Rav to another through a secret tradition very few have ever seen, as it was forbidden to even mention these things. For this reason, there was a prohibition on the exposition of Genesis as according to the Agada. Only one person at a time may receive it, which is an even more strict prohibition than the workings of the chariot. Again, these mysteries are lifted from a secret tradition that, for the first time, will be revealed in plain text here, and again, for the first time spoken of openly and in a plain fashion. With all this being said, I would like to give all glory to Hashem, whom without his holy Torah, we could not know any of these things. A special thank you to Harav Chomnita de Babel Deraz, the only in this generation to have a true understanding of these matters, and to the friends and to the holy order of whom safeguard these matters. Bo, verse 49. V'char et chayta tohu. Amer Rabbi Shimon Ovada de Bereshis. Chavriya la'an. Beo ve'adin be avel zirin inon, de adin limraza ovada de bereshis, beraza de tanin hagedal, tanenan de chal alma, la mish taleshla ele, al san firo deda. V'charetz chaitato, and the earth was without form. Rebbe Shimon said, the friends are familiar and are occupied with the works of creation, but few know the works of creation as alluding to the great Tanin, the Tanin Gedal. We learn that the whole world evolves and comes from its fin, the great Tanin. Therefore we must understand how he is alluded to throughout the works of creation. Bo, verse 50. Come and behold. It is written, and the earth was without form and void. We learned that it was earlier, namely, it was formless before the correction began. And it has been explained, when the great Tanin enters the first river, namely the quiet river, it becomes full. It swims and extinguishes the sparks that were gathered in from the worlds that were destroyed earlier. Bo, verse 47. Kativ bereshis bara Elokim, uktiv vayabere Elokim et hataninim hagedalim. Bekal ovada dainon eser amrin, kaimin le kablecho inon eser yorin, vechad tanina mit refrafa, berucha, lechabel, kal chad vechad. It is written in the beginning Elohim created, and also in Elohim created the great Tanin. In both cases it is written created. This teaches us that for every action of the 10 sayings in the works of creation, there are 10 rivers, and 1 crocodile blows wind against each of them. This means that 1 Tanin for each of the 10 rivers blows wind against the act corresponding to him of the 10 sayings of creation. Bo, verse 48. Vela dachad le shavi'in sheinin meda aza alma begin dechai hatanin hagedal kad hu salik san firoi ve'iz aza kedin kulohu miz ar zaan beinon yarin vechal alma mid ayaza ve'ara mit chal lechelet ve'kuluhu galilan bechai tanin hagedal. Therefore the world shakes once in every 70 years, since everything in the river shakes when this great Tanin rises his fins and shakes. The whole world shudders and the earth trembles, for they are all included in this great Tanin. Bereshis bara Elohim et hashamayim v'charetz. In the beginning Elohim created the heaven and the earth. Immediately we learn that the entire workings of creation are alluding to the Tanin Gedal, and corresponding to v'charetz chaitato v'bachu v'chashako pnei tahom, that it was originally, meaning that the worlds were destroyed. Furthermore, we learn that there is a river corresponding to each of the 10 sayings. For the word vayomer, which is used to say and said, in example, vayomer Elohim, and Elohim said, can be rearranged to say miar, that is to say, from the river. Furthermore, we learn that this great Tanin, all of the worlds are alluded to and hang only from its fin. Therefore it is imperative for us to investigate how this great Tanin is hinted at in the works of creation. Bereshis. This word refers to the great sin that occurred in the beginning, as it is written, Reshit chata hi lebat Sion, ki bach nimsao pishe Israel. The beginning of sin she was to the daughter of Sion, for in you were found the transgressions of Israel. Macha 1:13. The daughter of Zion refers to Malchus of Malchus, in which the sin took place, and so it is written, Bereshis Malchut. In the beginning, Malchus, Yirmiyahu 49:34. This Malchus refers to the Malchus of Atzilus, and so it is written, Reshis Chokmah. The beginning is Chokmah, Proverbs chapter 4 verse 7. Chokmah refers to the world of Atzilus, from which the sin took place. This sin refers to he who was brought forth, as it is written. Hu Rashis Derachei El. He is the beginning of the ways of El, Yov 40:19. He is hinted at by Babylon, and so it is written, Rashis Memalchuto Babel Ve'erech. The beginning of Malchus, the kingdom from Babylon and Erech. Bereshis 10:10. Babylon refers to Atzilus, and the head of the four kingdoms, as the emergence of that head was the emergence of that idol, from which it was written of Babylon, you are the head of gold. Daniel chapter 2 verse 38. For this reason, the word Bereshis contains the word Rosh, an example head. This Erech is a hint to the one called Erech Apim, and this is also hinted at in Amalek, as it is written, Rashis Goyim Amalek. The beginning of the nations is Amalek. Numbers 24:20. Now he who was brought forth was at once decreed to be destroyed, as it is written, Reshit HaCherem Lizbicha Le'et Gevavke Elohecha Begilgal. The beginning of the things which should have been utterly destroyed to sacrifice to Yud-Gevavke, your God, in Gilgal. Samuel 15:21. Question 1. Reshit chetahi lebas Tzion ki bak nimatzo pishe Israel. The beginning of sin she was to the daughter of Zion, for in you were found the transgressions of Israel. Micah 1:13. Who is she? Who is the beginning of the sin to the daughter of Zion? This refers to the supernal Ima, who created without Abba, as it is stated in the Zohar, Bereshis A, verse 163. Ihi Amra Batar Dechove Talia Beima Velo Beava Ana Ba'ina Lemivre Leo Bet Yukna Dili Chadahu Diktiv Vayabara Elokim Et Chadam Betlamo Velo Ba'a Leish Tatafa Be'aba. Ima said, because his sins are related to Ima and not Abba, I wish to create him in my own image, as it is written, so Elohim created man in his own image. Bereshis 1:27. Note that it is not written in our own image, because she did not want Abba to have any share in his creation. Bereshis A, verse 164. Bezimna dechav ma ketiv ube peshiekem shelacha imechem amar melacha laima velo amrin lecha deati hu lemechete beahu zimna tarik leo vetarik ima imeo ubegin da kativ ben hakam yishmach av uben kasil Togat imo, ben hakam da adam da icho, be'arak atzilus, u ben kasil de adam da bria. When Adam sinned, it was written, and for your transgressions was your mother put away. Yeshayahu 51. The king who was Abba said to Ima, did I not tell you that he was going to sin? Why did you create him? In that instance he exiled him and his mother. Therefore it is written, a wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother. A wise son alludes to man in the world of Atzilus, namely Zerainpin, and a foolish son alludes to man in the world of Bria, namely Adam, whose soul comes from the world of Bria. Thus, because of this sin, all the transgressions of Israel were found in her, as it is stated, because his sins are related to Ima and not Abba. And it is also stated, so Elohim created man in his own image, because she did not want Abba to have any share in his creation. This teaches us that this foolish son, who is a man of Berea, whom brings grief to his mother, is called a mamzer, bastard, being born without a father. The man of Berea is this place, as it is written, Bereshis Bara, in the beginning, created. And the word bara here refers to the world of Berea, as mentioned by the Arizal and Chaim Vital. The word mamzer, having a value of 287 and imkol 288, bastard, has a numerical value of Samael Zaken, which also equals 288, and refers to Samael Zaken, who is also called an old foolish king, who was brought forth here. We read that both this foolish son and the mother were banished, an example banished outside of the world of Atzilus, from which she had been originally. This was the descent of the Malchus of Atzilus. How did she cause this sin? She created without Abba, and so the word Bereshis was the beginning of this sin. It was by her thought that she sinned and brought forth an abomination of which it was written, My mother conceived me in sin. Tehillim, Psalms 51:5. Hen be'aon, hulalti, ubechete, yeche metni imi. Indeed, I was born with iniquity, with sin, my mother conceived me. Psalms 51:5. Bereshis can be read as berosh, an example in her head. The tav at the end is a feminine connotation. And because she contains supernal light within inside of her in the secret of wisdom and understanding, an example she had in her the light of Atzilus and Chaya. Wisdom being Atzilus, and hinting to the word Atzil meaning emanation, which is the light and life. Wisdom is called both light or and life, Chaya. Of Abba, as it is written, wisdom gives life to its possessor, and so her thought was not idle, and it brought forth. However, because Abba was not a part of the creation of this foolish son, it was brought forth like an aborted fetus, as it did not have the portion of Abba, which is life, and it was not connected to that world of life, which is Atzilus, which is the aspect called Chaya, as it is known. When she beheld this abomination, it brought forth grief, as it was misshapen and abominable. So it is written, A foolish son is the grief of his mother. Yishmach Av uben Kasil Tugat imo. A wise son brings joy to his father, and a foolish son is the grief of his mother. Proverbs 10:1. She sinned and conceived in error, and so it is written, She is the beginning of the sin of the daughter of Zion. Because of all this sin, all of the transgression of Israel were to be found in her. So she said, because his sins applied to Ima and not Abba, etc. Why was this Malchus of Malchus? It is written in the same section of the Zohar. Bereshis, A. 160. Patak ve'amar le melcha dechava le kema ben yanin la'ami bene ve'ava le umana ve'ahu umana lo chava avad midam ela merosho de melacha ve'echeye etzlo amon malcha ve'dai icho hakama ila'a le'ela ve'amuda de eme tsiuta malcha letata Elohim umana le'aila ve'da ima ila'a Elohim umana letata ve'da shachinta diletata. Rabbi Shimon started by saying this is like a king who had many buildings to build, and he had a craftsman. That craftsman, Uman, did not do anything without the permission of the king, as it is written, Then I was by him as a nursling, Amon, Mishlei 8:30. The king is most certainly the supernal wisdom above, which is Abba, and the central pillar is the king down below, namely Zerainpin. Elohim, the craftsman above, is the supernal Ima, and Elohim, the craftsman below, is the Shekhinah below. Regarding these two craftsmen, it is written, every craftsman hates his fellow craftsman, as mentioned in Bereshis Rabbah, the Midrash. Question 2. Who is this Malchus, Bereshis Malchut? In the beginning, Malchus, Yirmiyahu 49:34. This Malchus refers to the Malchus of Atzilus. Malchus has a value of 496. This is the same value as Samael the serpent, Samael HaNachash. Imkalel for the two has a numerical value of 496, and the value of Leviathan, which also has a value of 496. Thus our sages said that he slayed the female and castrated the male. The female being slain refers to the supernal Ima that descended as she was exiled, and this exiling was likened to death. Therefore our sages said that death means descent. And where was this exile hinted at? In the word Bereshis, as the first three letters, Berah, Beit, Resh, Aleph, hint to being cut down as it is written. Viragmu alechen even kachal ubare otechen bechavrotam benechem ubenotechem yaharago ubatechen baesh ish refo. Let the assembly pelt them with stones, ubare, and cut them down with their swords. Let them kill their sons and daughters, and burn down their homes. Thus the word Bereshis can be read as created 6, Bereshit, and cut down 6, Bareshis, for they were both exiled. We thus see in the verse the term ubare means cut down. Bo, verse 47, Kativ Bereshis bara Elohim uktiv vayabera Elohim et hatanini megdolim bechal ovada dainon eser amirin ki omin lekablecho inon eser yarin vechad tanina mit rafrafa berucha lekabel kal chad vechad. It is written, in the beginning Elohim created, and also Elohim created the great Tanin. In both cases, it is written created. This teaches us that for every action of the 10 sayings in the works of creation, there are 10 rivers, and one Tanin blows wind against each of them. This means that one Tanin for each of the 10 rivers blows wind against the act corresponding to him of the 10 sayings of creation. Regarding the words Nechash, serpent, and Leviathan, the serpent is Samael, as it is written, Beyom chachu yifchod yitkevavke becheravo hakasha ve'agadula ve'hakazacha al Leviathan Nachash barich ve'al Leviathan Nachash akalatan ve'arag et hatanin aser bayam. In the day, God will punish with a great cruel mighty sword Leviathan, the elusive serpent, Leviathan, the twisting serpent, the dragon of the sea will be slain. Question 3. What is referred to here by the beginning is Hokmah, Reshit Hokmah? Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. Hokmah refers to the world of Atzilus, from which the sin took place. This sin refers to he who was brought forth. Hokmah has the value of 73, and this is the same as the word Golem, and was written regarding this Golem. Galmi ra'o anecha ve'al sifrecha kulam yekatevo yamim yutsaro velo echad bachem. I was a golem. Your eyes saw my unformed limbs. They were all recorded in your book. In due time they were formed, to the very last one of them. Thus, Bereshis reads as created 6, as it is known that Zerainpin is the secret of the lower 6, an example Chesed Gevur Tifres Netzach Hod and Yisod. This is the foolish son that emerged in this place. Thus these 6 are also the secret of the letter Vav, valuing 6. Hence in the Zohar, it stated the king down below is the center pillar, an example Zerainpin, who is the lower 6, and the Vav of the name Yudke Vavke. He was castrated, as Malchus, an example the female, was disconnected from Yesod, the place of the reproductive organ. Malchus, an example the Nukva, was slain and then descended. Regarding this descent, the word Bereshis, having a value of 913, has the same value as the phrase Zecha Nefesh b'Samael Zakin Nefal, 913, the soul in Samael Zakin fell. This refers to the Nukva of Atzilus that fell, as is widely known amongst those versed in the classical Lurianic Kabbalah. Now, Hokmah is the secret of light, or 207, and the secret of the endless, Ein Sof, valuing 207. He descended from the endless, which is the secret of Hokmah, and so the word Ein Sof, endless, is the numerical value of Hasod Samael, the secret of Samael. The word Hokmah, wisdom in Greek, is Sophia, and so according to various traditions, they stated Sophia created without the fullness. They originated their teachings from the sages who secretly knew of these things and hinted at them through the secret of a great mystery. Accordingly, as well, she conceived of her own and brought forth. Now it is written, Wisdom built her house with 7 pillars, established it with understanding, and filled it with knowledge. Thus the word Bereshis can be permuted as Beis Rosh, head house. She conceived to build this house in her thoughts, and what she brought forth was an error. Question 4. Who is he? Hu Reshis Darache El. He is the beginning of the ways of El, Yov 40:19. He in the passage refers to Bechimah, and the word Bechimah, having a value of 52, has the value as the same as the word son, Ben, and also hints to the 52-letter name of Hashem, which is the name corresponding to Malchus, from which was referred to in the beginning. The final letters of the phrase Reshis, Derechai, El, spell the word Tali, Tav, Lamed, Yud, dragon. This is hinted at in Sifra Detznuta in the Zohar, as it is written, Chai Metakla Tali. These scales are hung in a place where they were not before, meaning in the head of the Atik. In them were weighed those who had no weapons, namely the kings, but the essence of the scales lies in the body, meaning the center column, that is Tiferet, where judgment lies. This judgment does not unite and is not visible in the scales. In these scales the light of the left ascend from below upwards, and in them rise those that were not, those that were, and those that will be. For this Tali, dragon, which is the secret of the kings of Edom, was Talia, hung, in a place which it was not before, an example the head of the Atik. It is known these 7 are the 7 kings, whose letters are Shin, Tet, Nun, Ayin, Zain, Tzadi, and Gimel, which have 3 Tagin. The secret of the weapons, as will be explained in its proper place. The word Bereshis can now refer to the son of the mother, as the word begins with the 3 letters Berah, which has been established, hence to Beria, and the remaining letters, Shis, meaning 6, alludes to his son. And this son, which are the lower 6, hence the word Bereshis, is the son of Beria, an example, that foolish son who is the grief of his mother. Regarding this dragon, Talia, our sages state, Nechash Leviathan Akalaton. Nechash Leviathan Akalaton, it is also stated, it is in the form of a crooked snake, and it is composed of fire and ruach, and is located in the 4th firmament. It has 7 limbs that adjust the 7 paths of the 7 planets, moving them south to north and north to south. However, it is not what draws them from east to west in the day and from west to east at night. All of the stars and luminaries are tied to it, Its head is at the solar node, and its tail is at the lunar node, and it is he who darkens the light, and of the two luminaries, and the light of the seven celestial bodies, and all of the luminaries in general. With this we can understand why Hashemayim, the heavens, is mentioned after. Question 5. What is meant by Babylon and Erech? What are these kingdoms? He is hinted at by Babylon, and so it is written, Rashis me Melchato Babel ve'Erech, the beginning of Malchus, kingdom from Babylon and Erech, Genesis 10:10. Babylon refers to Atzilus in the head of the four kingdoms, as the emergence of that head was the emergence of that idol, from which it is written of Babylon, you are the head of gold, Daniel 2:38. And for this reason, the word Bereshis contains the word Rosh, an example, head. This Erech is a hint to the one called Erech Apim, and this is also hinted at in Amalek. It was stated this refers to the head as it is written, you are the head of gold. Similarly, this is similar to an infant who emerges first by its head, and later by its body. Hence the words Hashemayim, the heavens, and the earth emerge after, hinting to the limbs of its body, and Bereshis hinting to its head that emerged. Regarding the word Erech Apim, as was hinted at, refers to Samael, as the word Apim has a value of 131, the same as Samael, 131. This refers to the beard attached to the head, as it is written of Babylon, you are the head of gold. And following this head, the word Erech, which appears to the beard, called Arichainpin. It is stated that this is in the secret of Chesed, and so it is written regarding the matter, Exodus 34:6. Ve'avod yirkevavke al panah, va'ikra yirkevavke el rachom, ve'chanun erech apim urab chesed ve'emet. Yirkevavke passed before him and proclaimed, Yirkevavke, a God compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in kindness and faithfulness. Now the following phrase, abounding in kindness, Urav Chesed, has a value of 280, and refers to Sandalphon, which has a value of 280. It is known this Sandalphon is connected to both Babylon and Amalek, hinted at by Sandalphon, of which we will discuss in the next question. Furthermore, Sandalphon is the secret of the aborted fetus, as will be explained in the following question. The beard is the secret of the first three letters, Shin Tet Nun, Satan. Sandalphon is the secret of Malchus, and so it states in the passage the beginning of Malchus, which hints to Sandalphon, as will be clarified. The value of the word Sandalphon 280 is a value of the word Ken Samael, the nest of Samael 280, and also the value of the word Par, bull, Feirish, referring to the 70 bulls offered on Sukkot. Sukkot itself having a numerical value of Lilith, Samek Kaf Tav, 480. Bereshis 9:13 has the value of Hu HaKasil Samael Chalilit Nefal. He, the fool Samael, and Lilith fell. Value 9:13, the same as Bereshis. Sandalphon has a value of 280, which is Kasil Nefal, the fool fell, referring to that foolish son. Question 6. This is also hinted at in Amalek, as it is written, Rashis Goyim Amalek. The beginning of the nations is Amalek. Now Amalek and Babylon are the secret of Sandalphon, therefore the value of Sandalphon 280 is the value of Babel ve'Amalek, Babylon and Amalek 280. This refers to an aborted fetus, and this is the secret of the Talmud statements in Tractate Nida 25. The Mishnah teaches that a woman who discharges a sandal fetus, or one who discharges an afterbirth, observes the strictures of a woman who gave birth to both a male and to a female. The sages taught in a Baraisa, a sandal fetus has a similar appearance to a certain fish of the sea known as a sandal fish. It looks as though it is a full-fledged offspring from the outset, but it was mashed. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says a sandal fetus has an appearance that is similar to the tongue of a large bull. Students testified in the name of our teachers that for sandal fetus to have the halachic status of an offspring, it requires the shape of a face. The reason why it is smashed because it refers to the backside, and it was emanated from the backside. Furthermore, it hints to the large tongue of a bull, which hints to the klipot of the bull. One of the interpretations of the word bocher for the letters Beis, Kof, Resh also hints to this. Now, it mentions here, it has no face because it was not from the front side. Kaititse verse 102 states in the Zohar, but the Shekhinah, when with the Holy One Blessed be He, does not change, nor does the Holy One Blessed be He change when with her. This is the meaning of I am Hashem, I do not change. I is the Shekhinah. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is a central pillar, namely Zerayin-Pin. A man pulled off his shoe refers to Sandalphon, who is a sandal by the Holy One Blessed be He, and a shoe by the Shekhinah. But Tiferet, that includes 6 Sefirot, is a body to the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, and Malchus is a body to the Shekhinah, that is Adonai. Thus we see that the term sandal, being used in both of these areas, referring to the sandal fetus, is in truth talking about Sandalphon and the birth of Sandalphon. Thus we see that the sandal who is Sandalphon is the aborted fetus, and it is likened to a fish, being the secret of the foolish king, which is the secret of that Tanin, as has been explained. Now the reason for it emerging with its face on its back is because the backsides of the Sefirot refer to the emanation of a thing, and here Sandalphon emerged in the secret of the backside of the Sefirot. Furthermore, the foolish king emerged on the backside of the fullness, which is the place of his exile. Now we will explain the process of his emanation, and it is important to understand that the emanation of a thing refers to the backside of the Sefirot. It is also important to understand that the squaring of a name refers to the backside, and the emanation, as this key is critical to make sense of the higher mysteries. With this short explanation, we may understand why its face was on its back, and how it, indeed, the sandal fetus, in example Sandalphon, hinted at here refers to a failed fetus. Rav Yehuda says that Shmuel says the halacha that a sandal fetus required the shape of a face for it to have the status of an offspring. Rav Ada says that Rav Yosef says that Rav Yitzchak says a sandal fetus requires the shape of a face, but the face does not need to be in a proper location. Even if the face is on the back of its head, the fetus has the status of an offspring. A parable to which this situation can be compared to is that of a person who slapped another in the face and pushed his face back. Here too, the face of the sandal fetus was pushed back due to external pressure. To further expound, the foolish son is called the man of Beriah, Adam the Beriah, as it has been explained, and Adam is male and female, as it is written, Vayabera Elohim et Adam betlamo betzelem Elohim, bara oto zachar vanukva bara otam. And Elohim created Adam in its image, creating it in the image of Elohim, created them male and female. Elohim is a supernal Ima who created without Abba, as has been explained. However, we now may understand that in addition to this foolish son, a female was produced, who is the secret of this sandal, as will be expounded further. And regarding this birth, it continues. The Gemara asks, why does the Mishnah mention that if a woman discharges a sandal fetus, she observes the strictures of a woman who gave birth both to a male and a female, since there is no such thing as a sandal fetus and does not have another offspring with it, which mashed it and gave it the form of a sandal fish? In any case, the woman has the impurity of a woman after childbirth. This is because the sandal was birthed alongside the foolish son, as has been stated. The Gemara asks, if it is a female offspring that is born with the sandal fetus, it is indeed unnecessary to mention the halacha of a sandal fetus, as a woman is in any case impure for 2 weeks, but here we are dealing with a case where a male is born with it, on account of which the woman would be impure for only 7 days, were it not for the sandal fetus. Because the sandal was born, and a male was born with it, in example the foolish son, it caused the woman to be impure for 7 days. In addition, it caused the entire house to be rendered impure, as will be explained. This, of course, all hinting to the 7 days of creation, which were rendered all klipothic and unclean and impure. The Gemara discusses why the case of a woman who discharged a sandal fetus is mentioned in the other Mishnayot, given that a sandal fetus always has a twin, meaning it must always be male and female. First, the Gemara discusses the halacha of a woman who discharged a sandal fetus that we learned in the Mishnah. The Gemara answers the halacha is relevant for a case where the sandal fetus's twin comes out of the womb after it. The Mishnah teaches that as the sandal fetus was born first, its twin is considered a firstborn with regard to inheritance, but it is not a firstborn with regard to redemption from a priest. The Gemara answers, it is necessary for the Mishnah to state that if a woman gives birth to a full-fledged offspring by means of cesarean section, and to a sandal fetus in a regular manner through the womb, in such a case she brings forth offering for giving birth to the sandal fetus, despite the fact that she does not bring an offering to the full-fledged offspring, as one does not bring an offering for a birth by cesarean section, thus hinting that it came out of her own being, as it were. Furthermore, it also hints to the idea of its redemption, which is incredibly important for the latter sections of this sefer. The Gemara asks, but according to Rabbi Shimon, who said that the offspring which is delivered by means of cesarean section is considered a full-fledged offspring, and his mother does bring an offering, what is there to say? Why is it necessary for the Mishnah to state this halacha if the woman must bring an offering regardless of the sandal fetus? The full-fledged offspring here refers to the male, which is a foolish son, emerging from her own aspect like a cesarean section, while the sandal fetus refers to the female, which was emerged through the womb. Rabbi Yirmiyah says, it is necessary for the Mishnah to state that if a woman gives birth to the full-fledged offspring while she is a Gentile, when the halachot of a woman after childbirth do not apply to her, and she immediately converts to Judaism and gives birth to the sandal fetus after she converted and became obligated to observe the halachot of a woman after childbirth, that she brings an offering to the sandal fetus. For this reason the foolish son emerged, and having emerged she was stricken with grief, as it is written, a foolish son is the grief of his mother. And what happened? Immediately she repented of her offenses and gave birth to the sandal, which is the secret of the earth, and this earth was void, formless, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Because this earth refers to Sandalphon and the sandal fetus. For this reason, the term tohu, haita tohu, Tohu has a numerical value of Samael and Sandalphon, for these two emerged, and because its features were essentially featureless, being the backside, it says Tohu v'bahu v'choshek opnei tohom, void, formless, and darkness upon the face of the deep, etc. The sages said the answers to these questions before Rav Papa. They asked him, and are these answers correct? Can it be suggested that the sandal fetus was born before or after the twin fetus? But isn't it taught in a Baraisa that when a sandal fetus and the full-fledged offspring exit the womb, they exit only wrapped around one another? Now it is revealed that the sandal and the foolish son emerge wrapped around each other. What is this like? This is like the simsum that envelops each grade like the layers of an onion. Regarding this it is written, the heaven and the earth at the Shemaim ve'charetz. Which are these two? An example, the foolish son and the sandal fetus. It was necessary to add at the beginning of these two places to denote this secret. This simsum hints to the second and third simsum, which are the secret of Vav and Dalet, as will be explained later. Continuing on, the Gemara expounds. Rav Papa said in response, conclude from it that the sandal fetus and its twin do not lie side by side, but rather the full-fledged offspring encounters the sandal fetus at half its height. An example, the head of the full-fledged offspring presses into the abdomen of the sandal fetus, and when they are born, the full-fledged offspring pushes the sandal fetus towards the direction its head is pointing, to the entrance of the womb, causing the sandal fetus to be born first. Therefore, the Mishnah with regard to firstborns can be explained as referring to a case where the fetuses exited the womb with their heads first, as in such a case, the sandal fetus emerges first. By contrast, the Mishnah in Tractate Keratot is referring to a case where they emerged with their feet first, as in such a case, the full-fledged offspring emerges first. He explained the full-fledged offspring meets at half the height of the sandal fetus. The reason for this is that the partufim of Yaakov and Rachel reach to the Tiferet of Zerainpin, which is at its abdomen. In the case in which the feet emerge first, which refers to the kings of Edom that died without weapons, an example Malchus of each aspect, the full-fledged offspring emerges first, which causes the sandal to meet at the abdomen of the male, as has been explained. Regarding another matter, the male is Zerainpin, which is the letter Vav, of the divine name Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei, and is half the size of the totality, which is the place of the abdomen. Rav Humna bar Talifa says in the name of Rabbah, You may even say that the two fetuses lie precisely side by side, and you should reverse Rav Papa's halacha so that it reads as follows with regard to firstborns. The reference is to a case where the fetuses emerge with their feet first. In such a case, the full-fledged offspring, which has life, hangs on and does not emerge so quickly. Whereas the sandal fetus, which does not have life, slides out and emerges first. In tractate Keratot, it is referring to a case where the fetuses came out with their heads first. In such an instance, with regard to the full-fledged offspring which has life, once its head emerges and is considered a birth, whereas the sandal fetus is considered to have been born only when the majority of its body emerges. Mishnah. If there is an afterbirth in the house is ritually impure, in the same sense that everything under the roof contracts impurities imparted by a corpse. The reason is not that the status of an afterbirth is that of an offspring. Rather, it is that there is no afterbirth without an offspring. It is clear that the afterbirth contained an offspring and disintegrated after the miscarriage. That offspring rendered the contents of the house impure. It is clarified here that the matter is regarding a miscarriage similar to an aborted fetus has been established, and this caused the entire house to be rendered impure. The house was made of 7 pillars, which refer to the 7 days of creation. This creation was rendered impure, as this is the length that the woman in example Ima was rendered impure, example 7 days. Rabbi Shimon says that the house does not become a tent over a corpse, as although there had been an offspring in the afterbirth, the offspring disintegrated, turning to blood, before it emerged from the womb, and it was negated by the majority of blood that accompanied the miscarriage. The fetus was born dead, so it is written, the earth was formless, void, and darkness upon the face of the deep. It was explained that because Ima conceived of her own without Abba, she did not conceive with life, but rather death, and therefore the sandal was born dead. Gemara. The sages taught in a Baraisa, with regard to the appearance of the afterbirth, at the outset of pregnancy, the afterbirth is so thin that it is similar to a string of the woof, and at the end of the pregnancy is much wider, similar to the width of a lupine. And the afterbirth is hollow, like a trumpet, and there is no afterbirth whose length is less than a handbreadth. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, an afterbirth is similar to the craw of roosters, from which the small intestine emerges. Since the Baraisa states that the minimum length of an afterbirth is a handbreadth, the Gemara cites another Baraisa, which is different in items whose halakhic status is dependent on a minimum measure of a handbreadth. It is taught by Rav Chaya, the youngest Zaira, of the company Demin Charaya of sages. There are 5 items whose minimum measure is 1 handbreadth, and they are an afterbirth, the shofar, the blowing of Rosh Hashanah, the spine of the lulav that must be taken on Sukkot, the width of the wall of the sukkah, and the hyssop. Hyssop is used for the purification of a leper and for the preparation of the ashes of a red heifer in order to sprinkle them with water on someone who is ritually impure due to impurity by a corpse. This refers to the 5 times that the word light are mentioned, the 5 times that the word water are mentioned in the 2nd verse, and the 5 times that the word firmament are mentioned. This is similar to water from delivery, the afterbirth, and the small intestines. However, regarding this fetus we read, Rav Ami Bar Shmuel says, this matter was explained to me by Mar Shmuel. As for being concerned that perhaps she is impure, the woman must be concerned due to the uncertainty whether she discharged an offspring, but we do not give her the days of purity that follow the period of impurity for a woman who gave birth unless the embryo has grown hair. The period of impurity refers to an embryo that has grown hair, and this is a hint to Esav, who is the secret of the hair, of the beard, and so Bereshis 9:13 has the numerical value of Esav Atzilus, Esav of Atzilus, 9:13. And Esav is the secret of the hair, as it is written, Vayimlu yamecha leledet vechine tomim be'bitna. When her time to give birth was at hand, there were twins in her womb. Veyetze charishon admoni kulu ke'ad deret she'ar vaycho shemo Esav. The first one emerged red like a hairy mantle all over, so they named him Esav. It has been established regarding this matter as it is written, the beginning of Malchus, Babel, and Erech. The word Bereshis 9:13 has the numerical value of Ima Yaled Ben Besandal Ze Lilith Vesamael 9:13. Ima birthed a son with a sandal. These are Lilith and Samael. Now hair is the secret of the expansions, and so the squaring of the name Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei referring to the backsides has a value of 72. This refers to the world of Atzilus and is hinted at by Bereshis, in which we read Berah Shin Yud Tav created 710, 300 plus 10 plus 400. This refers to the backside of Atzilus, from which this sun and the sandal emerged. This is the emanation of Samael Zaken as follows. We see the squarings, which was mentioned explicitly, are emanations. Thus, in the word Bereshis, created 710, we see 72 times 10. An example, the 72 name of Hashem corresponding to Atzilus, and its squaring to the backsides. This refers to the backside of the 10 Sephiroth. This is 72 times 10 equals 720. It has been established that squaring refers to an emanation, and we learned that the sandal fetus emerged without a face, an example without the front called faces, because it was entirely composite of the emanations from the backside of Atzilus, as has been demonstrated here. Question 7. What should have been destroyed? Reishis hacherem lizboch leyid-kei-vav-kei Elohecha begilgal. The beginning of the things which should have been utterly destroyed to sacrifice to Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei your God in Gilgal. Shmuel 15:21. The simple meaning of the text refers to the sheep and ox, ubocher, which will be discussed later. This ox refers to what was established regarding the sandal, that it is like the tongue of an ox. The word utterly destroyed here is hacherem. The value of this word is 253. This is the numerical value of Sandal uben Daim, Sandal and the son of Ima, 253, identifying what needs to be destroyed. This is regarding the commandment of Amalek. Utterly destroy them, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as your God, Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei, has commanded you. And we see there, ki hacherem, the exact same word, which comes to include Sandal uben Daim, Sandal and the son of Ima, hinting to these two. It continues, Shmuel 15:3. Now go attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that belongs to him, and spare no one, but kill alike men and women, infants and sucklings, oxen and sheep, camels and asses. Regarding this existence, Avram Abulafia states in Otsar Aden Ganuz, Bereshis is a numerical value of Bametziot HaSatan. Bereshis is a value 913, and it has a value of Bemetziot HaSatan through the existence of the Satan. This brings us to the conclusion of our first portion of Sefer HaSod HaRazin HaSatan. Without question, this video and its contents are the loftiest and most esoteric levels of the secrets of Satan and commentaries on Bereshis and explanations of the Talmud in regards to these matters that has ever been openly revealed par none. What was revealed here in a short period of time would require one a lifetime's worth of study in the right circles, under the right auspices, with the right safers, to even glean a hint of. We can see clearly how concepts that would be later developed in what we would refer to as, in modern scholars as, Gnosticism originated themselves. But here, for the first time, the highest secrets of Satan and Lilith. With all of this being said, Shalom and Selah.